Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Ghazali's Jawah al-Quran wa Durr, the Jews of the Quran and spares. We have reached Surah Al-Qasas, and Imam Ghazali chose 5 verses from this surah, beginning with verse 60, but we'll begin right at the beginning, almost immediately after introductory verses. We have a beautiful story. A beautiful story, of course, for Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. He went through pain, but there is something beautiful in this story, as we will, inshallah, as the story unfolds. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم طاسيم تلك آيات الكتاب المبين. Again, this is one of practically 3 ways in which the surahs, the chapters of the Quran begin. We have these independent letters, and then the book, the Quran, is mentioned. These are the verses of the clear book, تلك آيات الكتاب المبين. نتلو عليك من نبأ موسى وفرعون بالحق لقوم يؤمنون. We narrate to you, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, part of the story of Moses, min naba'i Musa, because it's mentioned different parts of the Quran, part of the story of Moses and Pharaoh, in truth for people who believe. إن فرعون علا في الأرض وجعل أهلها شيعا يستضعف طائفة منهم يذبح أبناءهم ويستحيي نساءهم إنه كان من المفسدين. Indeed, Pharaoh arrogantly he elevated himself in the land and divided its people, obviously, into subservient groups, Shi'an, all of which he persecuted, slaughtering their sons and keeping their women. He was truly one of the corruptors. The history of modern colonialism around the world, but especially here in the Middle East, one can see this story of dividing the people into different subservient groups was pretty much what the British and the French did in Lebanon, in Syria, and elsewhere. As one historian said, I mean, it's something very, very new. He said all the problems of the world were created by the British. Of course not, but the meaning is obvious. Standing for China, the Opium War, Southeast Asia, the issue of Palestine, of course, beginning with Balfour Declaration and more than 100 years of suffering. So divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. It seems that it's an amazing thing that one can go back with to the ancient Egyptians, and they were doing this. The Pharaoh used to do this. ونريد أن نمن على الذين استضعفوا في الأرض ونجعلهم أئمة ونجعلهم الوارثين. But was our will to favor those who were oppressed in the land, making them models of faith as well as successors. استضعفوا, oppressed, of course, that's persecuted, but that's one phase, and the next phase is that there will be أئمة models, أئمة political leaders, because they were persecuted. In order for them to have a different paradigm, oppression has to be removed. It has to end. And of course, it cannot continue forever. And almost as if this is really almost like a law of history. But this is revelation. And not only being a imma, وَنَجْعَلْهُمْ وَارِثِينَ, so be models of faith as well as successors, but also وَنُمَكِّنَ لَهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنُرِيَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُمَا مِنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَحْذَرُونَ, and to establish them in the land and through them show Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers the fulfillment of what they feared. This is why they killed the children, the sons of the children of Israel. Haman, it seems that he was responsible for architecture, because the Pharaoh at one point he asked the Haman to build an edifice from which he could see God, believing that if it's really high enough, that's really what it is. So, executive branch, if you will. Almost like a Department of Public Works. So they will see that which they have feared. And the end of the Pharaoh's reign will come at the hands of a boy from the children of Israel, that's Musa alayhi salam. In fact, he raised him. He was raised in the house of the Pharaoh, and ultimately he will end the house of the Pharaoh. In order to protect this child, Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired his mother, وأوحينا إلى أم موسى أن أرضعيه فإذا خفت عليه فألقيه في اليم ولا تخافي ولا تحزني إنا رادوه إليك وجعلوه من المرسلين. We inspired the mother of Moses, nurse him, but when you fear for him, put him into the river, and do not fear or grieve. We will certainly return him to you and make him one of the messengers. He was picked by the family of the Pharaoh, فالتقطه آل فرعون ليكون لهم عدوا وحزنا إن فرعون وهامان وجنودهما كانوا خاطئين. And it so happened that Pharaoh's people picked Musa alayhi salam up. So he was put in the river like in a wooden box so that he could float. And it was a divine decree that the water, the current, would take him right to where the family of the Pharaoh were on that particular spot near the river. They saw him, and of course, the wife of the Pharaoh, Asya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam, she pleaded for the life of the kid. She knew that he's one of the Israelites, children of Israel. And it so happened that Pharaoh's people picked him up only to become their enemy and source of grief. Later on, of course. Surely Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers were sinful. وقالت امرأة فرعون قرة عين لي ولك لا تقتلوه عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا وهم لا يشعرون. Pharaoh's wife said to him, this baby, Sayyidina Musa is a source of joy for me. And you. It seems that they did not have children of their own. Do not kill him. Perhaps he may be useful to us, or we may adopt him as a son. They were unaware of what was to come. Now his mother, of course, has longing. Imagine you talk about a mother giving birth and breastfeeding, and she was separated from her son. وأصبح فؤاد أم موسى فارغا. And the heart of Moses' mother ached so much that she almost gave away his identity. إن كادت لتبدي به لولا أن ربطنا على قلبها لتكون من المؤمنين. She almost gave away his identity had we not reassured her heart in order for her to have faith. Faith in Allah's promise. He promised that He will bring him back to her. And she said to his sister, keep track of him. So she watched him from a distance while they were unaware. They, the family of the Pharaoh. وقالت لأخته قصيه فبصرت به عن جنب وهم لا يشعرون. وحرمنا عليه المراضع من قبل فقالت هل أدلكم على أهل بيت يكفلونه لكم وهم له ناصحون. And we, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, caused him to refuse all wet nurses at first. So his sister suggested, shall I direct you to a family who will bring him up for you and take good care of him. This is how he made it back to his mother. This is how we returned him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala returned him to his mother so that her heart would be put at ease and not grieve, and that she would know that Allah's promise is always true. But most people do not know. فرددناه إلى أمه كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن ولتعلم أن وعد الله حق ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون. ولما بلغ أشده واستوى آتيناه حكما وعلما وكذلك نجزي المحسنين. And when he reached full strength and maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. This is how we reward the good doers. حكما وعلما. Wisdom and knowledge. ودخل المدينة على حين غفلة من أهلها فوجد فيها رجلين يقتتلان هذا من شيعته وهذا من عدوه فاستغاثه الذي من شيعته على الذي من عدوه فوكزه موسى فقضى عليه قال هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين. One day he entered the city unnoticed by its people. There he found two men fighting, one of his own people, so from among the children of Israel, and the other of his enemies. The man from his people called to him for help. He asked Sayyidina Musa for help against his foe. So Moses punched him, causing his death. Moses cried, this is from Satan's handiwork. He is certainly a sworn, misleading enemy. So Musa despite being raised in the house of the Pharaoh, he identified with his own people. That's one thing. Number two, he did not intend to kill. It was one hit, one blow. But it's a divine decree that the Egyptian would die. And Musa realized this is from Satan. But also the language here, وهذا من عدوه. وهذا من عدوه. على الذي من عدوه. So the animosity was already there. Then Sayyidina Musa asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فغفر له إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. So obviously he did not adopt the religion of the Egyptians. And obviously when his mother raised him, she breastfed Musa alayhi salam, she breastfed Musa alayhi salam, and along with that he was nurtured his own religious heritage, believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence this دعاء, this supplication. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فغفر له إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. He pleaded, my Lord, I have definitely wronged my soul, so forgive me. So he forgave him. For he is indeed the all-forgiving, most merciful. قال ربي بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين. Moses pledged, my Lord, for all your favors upon me, I will never side with the wicked. So sometimes people from your own background could be wicked, could be criminals, could be gangsters, could be drug dealers, could be thieves, could be. This is so. There's absolutely, you cannot talk about any society as a society of angels, of saints, of there'll always be wrongdoers. It is the Jahiliyyah spirit, the pre-Islamic spirit of the Jahiliyyah, that you would render help, you'd render your own tribe victorious, you support your tribe regardless of whether the position is moral or not. If my tribe invades, I'm with them. Is it a good cause? Is it in defense? And we can see the Jahiliyyah in the 21st century. What's happening in Gaza, that's really Jahiliyyah. Committing a genocide, to participate, to help, to partake in an immoral war, to kill tens of thousands of people, children and women mostly. فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين. فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب فإذا الذي استنصره بالأمس يستصرخه قال له موسى إنك الغوي المبين. Again, and so Moses became fearful watching out in the city, when suddenly the one who sought his help the day before cried out to him again for help. Moses rebuked him. Indeed, you are clearly, he said to him, you are clearly a troublemaker. Also, it means that Musa alayhi salam was known in the society. Where would he hide when you are well known? فلما أن أراد أن يبطش بالذي هو عدو لهما قال يا موسى أن تقتلني كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس إن تريد إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين. So the news obviously have spread, the news of the day before. And this Egyptian now addressed Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. When he was about to lay his hands on their foe, the enemy said, O Moses, do you intend to kill me as you killed a man yesterday? You only want to be a tyrant in the land. You do not intend to make peace. At this moment, a man showed up bringing the news that there is a plot against Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. وجاء رجل من أقصى المدينة يسعى قال يا موسى إن الملأ يأتمرون بك ليقتلوك فاخرج إني لك من الناصحين. And there came a man rushing from the furthest end of the city. He said, O Moses, the chiefs are actually conspiring against you to put you to death. So leave the city. Leave this place. I really advise you to do so. فخرج منها خائفا يترقب قال رب نجني من القوم الظالمين. So Moses left the city in a state of fear and caution. It's just like looking over his shoulder. My Lord, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deliver me from the wrongdoing people. Save me, نجني. Then he headed towards Madian. ولما توجه تلقاء مدين قال عسى ربي أن يهديني سواء السبيل. And as he made his way towards Midian, he said, I trust my Lord will guide me to the right way. In Midian, the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam takes like a twist for the better. There in Midian, he's like a political refugee, and it seems that the prophets, the messengers, were expelled, were exiled, were persecuted. Some were killed. None of them was welcomed with open arms. But he was not a prophet yet, of course. He would become prophet on his way back from Madian, either after 8 or 10 years. But in order to see these steps, he enters Midian without fearful, of course, exhausted, no food, no shelter, no family, no support, nothing. He had nothing. But he did two things. He did a good deed and he made a supplication. And inshallah, we will cover the good deed and the supplication and the rest of the story in the next session, inshallah. Until then, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.